So apparently the UFC are gonna are targeting KAMZAT CHIMAEV versus Usman fight. Now this fight I think is interesting on multiple fronts. Now Usman on multiple occasions has said that he did want to fight KAMZAT CHIMAEV. He said that he thought he's a worthy challenger, and I think he referenced him several times on interviews. He never directly said his name, but he said there's somebody out there that has been calling him out, that's been disrespectful, that he wants to fight, and a lot of fans have been inferring that he's talking about obviously KAMZAT CHIMAEV. Now this fight, to some extent, it's almost like a lamb to the slaughter type of fight. You got Usman, who's coming off 2 losses to Leon Edwards. Now the first fight, obviously he was dominating until the head kick, but after the head kick happened, in the second fight, he's been kind of how do I say, a bit gun shy and scared to commit. He didn't have the same swag and confidence that he had before the headshot KO that he suffered from Leon Edwards. So with that being said, I think obviously with him being gun shy, with the fact that his knees are kind of shot at the moment, I think this is the perfect opportunity for KAMZAT CHIMAEV to actually get himself in a title picture. If he can beat Usman, obviously Usman's coming off, was a dominant welterweight champion who's one of the greatest welterweights of all time. If he can actually, even though he's coming off 2 losses to Leon Edwards, he is highly regarded in the welterweight division because he did dominate it for a very long time, and at some point he was double lapping the division, right? So if he can actually if he can find a way to actually beat Usman, I don't think it's inconceivable that he's going to get the winner of Colby Covington and Leon Edwards. So whoever wins between Leon Edwards and Colby Covington, they're probably going to fight the winner of KAMZAT CHIMAEV versus Usman. Now obviously, like Usman has fought Leon Edwards and Colby Covington almost 3 times now, 3 times each. Like he's fought them both 3 times, like 3 times. So even if he beats KAMZAT CHIMAEV, I don't think he will get the next title shot, because who's going to want to watch a 4th fight? Actually, the UFC might book it. You never know. They might book it, but I just think it's unlikely to happen. So if he does beat KAMZAT CHIMAEV, obviously his hype is just going to go off the chain. KAMZAT CHIMAEV's got a massive following at this point in time. There's a lot of eyes on the game looking at him. So if he can get a win over KAMZAT CHIMAEV, it could actually propel him to get the next title shot. Even if Colby or Leon Edwards wins it, I think he'll be next in line. Even though he fought both of them 3 times each, he'll probably get the next shot. But to some extent, I would say that's basically is unlikely to happen, because I feel like obviously KAMZAT CHIMAEV is a young fighter that's at the top of his game, and he's about to fight an old veteran in Usman whose knees are shot, who's become gun shy. So I think the likelihood of what's going to happen if them two were to fight is that KAMZAT CHIMAEV probably beats him. So this is a changing of the guard fight. Obviously, if you was Usman's manager, you probably wouldn't tell him to take this fight. You probably say to him, listen, like, let's just stay away from him. You're coming off 2 losses. Why don't you take an easier fight, take an interim fight, and then you can somehow claw your way back into the title picture. But I can see obviously Usman having the heart that he has, and the fact that he's willing to fight anyone. He would probably say no to that. He probably wants to get back into the title picture quick, because he probably knows that he doesn't have long left in his career. He knows that he's towards the end. So if he hangs around too much and tries taking other interim fights, he might get beaten by a lesser fighter. So he's probably thinking, you know what, the best way for me to shoot myself to the top of the title contention, I've lost to Leon Edwards twice, is to beat an up and coming star that the UFC are really pushing. And obviously the star that they're pushing is KAMZAT CHIMAEV. So from his perspective, he doesn't want to go through fighting other title contenders like the likes of like a Vicente Luque and all of them, because he probably thinks that with him being kind of shot, they've got a better chance against him. So he's thinking, why don't I just propel myself to the title picture by fighting and beating someone who's highly regarded by the UFC brass, and if I beat them, then it's more than likely that I'm going to get the title shot. So tell me what you think below. Who do you think wins this fight? In my opinion, I think it's not a foregone conclusion. You can't overlook a fighter like Usman, but in my opinion, it's 60-40, 70-30 in favour of KAMZAT CHIMAEV. I think Usman's in a position where he needs to if I was his manager, I'll tell him to stay away from this fight. But obviously, he's got his own heart, and the fact is, he probably believes that this is the best way for him to get back into title contention. But tell me what you think. When do you think the fight will happen? I think they're looking at July or August, or whenever they're looking at. But do you think this fight is going to happen? I think it's a great fight from a fan perspective. But if I was Usman's manager, I'd be telling him to stay away from this fight. Obviously, Usman is a game fighter. He's a legend. He's one of the. I think he's the second best welterweight that's ever lived. Obviously the first is a GSP. He's second in my opinion, so he's definitely an all-time great legend. And there's some people that actually believe that Usman, if he would have fought GSP both in their prime, he would have found a way to win, and that's definitely an interesting fight. I can see Usman winning that fight, but I can also see GSP winning, but obviously that's something else. But obviously KAMZAT is just this animal monster. He's like 6'3", he can go into the middleweight division, and he's fighting a dude in Usman who's older, whose knees are shot, who's coming off 2 losses, he got knocked out brutally in their first fight with Leon Edwards. So it just seems like the tide is against Usman. So, but if there's anyone that can actually turn this around, it is Usman. So tell me what your thoughts are below, and like and subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot more content coming your way. Peace.